Now some questions. Already have some written questions.
How can teachers in schools teach about compassion and other human values?
I think this is a very good question. I always sort of emphasize the promotion of human value, not through prayer, not necessarily through religious sort of course, but through training of mind, and that mainly through education, through awareness. And the other hand, I think, and also I think that in modern society, in modern time, everybody agree that education is very important. So therefore, the several years is spent in school or university like that. So therefore, in the education institution, the more emphasis, the importance of these basic human good quality is, I think, very useful. So now, how to teach that? Like the compassion, sense of affection. You see, not sufficient to explain by words, mere words, but through action. So the teacher, your attitude, you see, towards your student, firstly, you should develop genuine sense of concern of the student, of whole life, their whole future life. So then, you see, to help shaping their whole future life. So the sense of responsibility. With that, every time signs come automatically to the minds of the student, the affection or sense of concern, sense of caring of the teacher side. So the student in the family, parents must provide maximum human affection. In the class, the teacher provide maximum human affection. Through that way, I think almost 24 hours, the student is grown up in the atmosphere of human affection. I think that's the proper way. So therefore, you see, your question is, I very much appreciate and very important. Sometimes you may lose a little anger if the student does not study well. but basically, you see, if you have the genuine sort of concern and the genuine compassion towards your student, then, you see, even a student then understand your few moments of your scold or few moments of your bad looks, that's okay. Yes, next question.
I hate my brother to death. What can I do to overcome this hate?
That's a difficult question. Unless I know what's the actual circumstances, what's the reason. So otherwise it's difficult to say. Now I think sometimes with my own brother, sometimes it's a little conflict. Because, you know, my eldest brother, who really determined Tibet must get independence. So he very critical about my approach, middle wave approach. So, you see, here, conflict. But then, except you see, our sort of discussions about these, you see, struggle, sometimes I really feel a little irritation. But then, the other hand, we are two brothers. And also, you say, I have sort of deep respect about my elder brother, who are very sort of jovial and always, you see, make fun. So I also respect sort of his sort of that kind of nature. So looking from the positive side, and then basically we are two brothers. So you see, thinking that line, no problem. We talk, our relation very, very close, as genuine two brothers. So that's one example. So I think, you see, your case, your brother one side, certain field or certain sort of factor makes you uncomfortable. But then you see, you analyze what is the matter, and then try to look your brother from different angle. Don't look or think always that negative side. Look, try to see from another angle. You might find some good things. Then that eventually make more balance your mind. Otherwise, I don't know. Then perhaps if you have religious faith, then, for example, the theistic sort of religious faith, then your brother also is a creature, like yourself. And there must be some meaning. The Almighty, so all compassionate, all merciful God, you see, created that. So you see, there must be some meaning. Think in this line. If you're Buddhist, then think about karma. You see, due to our past, wrongdoing, and today that kind of situation happened. So if you remain, if you further committed, you see, these negative emotions such as hatred, then the future things will worsen. Therefore, you see, thinking, you see, the karmic sort of chain reaction, then try to change your attitude, try to change your sort of emotions. Yeah, next question.
Most politicians and people in general don't have your feeling of compassion. Do you think a world of love and compassion is possible in such conditions?
I don't think all politicians are that kind of nature. I don't think. Certainly, you see, some people in the politics truly makes politics dirty, but not necessarily all. I think some people are very sincere and compassionate, and a sense of common responsibility. Sense of responsibility is a sense of commitment, and through that way they carry their politics. So I don't think, you see, it is easy to generalize. Then I think much depends on the society as a whole. The society where more compassionate, more sort of I think they peaceful, then politicians who come from that kind of society, I think it makes differences. Where the society less affection and always too much competition one another and no respect one another, then person who come from that kind of society, that kind of atmosphere, will be different. So we can't blame on these sort of individual, but I think we have to look oneself, check oneself before pointing other. First check oneself, then try to be a more compassionate person, then try to create within one's own family more compassionate atmosphere, and through that way join your neighbors, try to create more compassionate, more peaceful neighbors. I think that's the way.
What is the most important thing in a spiritual life?
As I mentioned earlier, these basic good qualities of human mind, I think these are the, essence. Then, of course, as a different sort of tradition, the emphasis, little sort of differences there. So here, I believe all the major teaching, different philosophy, some differences are fundamental differences. However, they all carry the same message of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, and then, the contentment and the self-discipline, these things. And then it's a different philosophy is actually necessary in order to satisfy the variety of people. So the important is we choose the spirituality according to one's own mental disposition. So generally, like Slovenia here, I think Slovenian people traditionally is Catholic or Christian, so therefore it is safer and follow your own tradition. And some may have different sort of taste or different mental disposition. So already some people seems here taking interest about Buddhism. So then my sort of advice or my suggestion is study. In order to practice Buddha Dharma, study is very, very essential. Without knowing the whole structure of the Buddha Dharma, then just recite some mantra or put some stingray. And sometimes in different sort of, dress. There's not much meaning.
Do you think that a person has to be religious to be peaceful after death? Or is it enough to be a good person and to try and live as best as one can?
I think as far as Buddhism, according to Buddhism is concerned, according to Buddhism, the life after life, that is natural. Whether person accept or not, or believe or not. And then the preparation for good life, good thing in next life, even who have no particular sort of religion, particular belief, then simply carry this life honestly, more compassionate. I think they, in few words, if possible, to help other. If not, at least restrain harming other. That's the meaningful life. So that's the, whether that person believe next life or not, it actually prepared for good life in next time.
How can Slovenia help Tibet? Is that even possible for such a small country?
Thank you for this question. Certainly, I think you can do, I think, even more effective. Because now, I think one of the cause of our problem is the fear and the ignorance in the minds of Chinese brothers, sisters. So therefore, like a small nation, and firstly, explain about the truth of Tibet is helpful to reduce ignorance. Then the smaller nation, like you speak truth honestly, frankly, there is no threat to the other side. So therefore, there's no reason to keep their fear. So therefore, I think you can help more effectively. Then, in order to do that, I think firstly, educate your friends or your neighbors. I think many people here may not know even where is Tibet. So therefore, they have more knowledge, or should have more knowledge. So you can help that respect. Then we have active sort of Tibetan support groups here, very good sort of our friends there. So they keep contact with the group who are helping to keep the Tibetan issues. So I think that's the practical way to increase interest of Tibet. Now, lastly, I would like to receive a few questions directly. One from here. I think two. One from here. One from here. Then one from here. One from here. So altogether four questions. Yes.
Okay. I have a question because there are a lot of new movements in this Western world or all over the world. Like New Age or mixtures of philosophy, and I think we all agree we all agree about this basic human virtues like compassion or all that you've already told us. But if we claim that there is one reality in true, we say, for example, yeah, there are several traditions and there are several tastes, but if there is one reality in true, how can we find out a way out of this bundle of confusion? If a human being is a person of searching for truth, how can we say one thing is really the truth? Is a voice in you that is the one who is the leading voice, who is as an individual, who is the one who tells you that that's the reality, because there are 60 milliards realities, or if it's just one tradition that it's true.
Now this, I think, difficult question. I think firstly, I do not think this small brain, I think, have the capacity to know everything. I think difficult. So, then secondly, now since, you see, even I think not relevant, in order to lead good life, first we should know everything. I think that is not sort of necessary. Like you see, taking medicine for illness, when we get ill, then of course one reliable physician, we ask them and prescribe one medicine, then take the medicine, because the cure of the illness is the main purpose. Not necessarily, you see, to investigate what substance of the medicine very thoroughly. So now in religious tradition, anger, hatred, jealousy, extreme self-centered sort of attitude, these are the troublemaker. These leads out trouble. So the medicine for these sort of negative emotion, that's necessary. So now, according one's own mental disposition, to some people, faith to Creator is very powerful. To some people, they think about karmic consequences or consequences of action. Think more on that line, more effective. So, according one's own mental disposition, adopt is a more suitable, more effective method. So usually I call the one individual case, the concept of one truth, one religion is important. But in the terms of several people, then several truth, several sort of religion is relevant. So when we are talking about humanity, the pluralism in the religion is necessary. So then another, you mentioned, you touched the modern, New Age. New Age, I feel, as a Buddhist monk, of course they entirely up to the individual. If someone really, you see, they have sort of interest about the New Age, so-called New Age, then all right, doesn't matter. But if you see someone claim Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, at the same time try to transform Buddha Dharma into New Age religion, that is not correct. When or if we say follow Buddha Dharma, then the Buddha Dharma should be authentic, historical and authentic. That's very important. Otherwise, you see, the method also more mixture and more confused one, the result then automatically will be more confusion. So I think better, you see, to follow the traditional one, authentic teaching.
I would like to ask, as I am very impressed by Buddhism and Buddha's thoughts, I would like to ask what is about Buddha that you admire the most?
Of course, the Buddha, like I think any other tradition, they consider the infinite mercy, infinite sort of compassion. And I think one unique thing about Buddha is the Buddhist sort of the concept about interconnectedness or interdependent. I personally, that philosophy is really helpful, to widen our perspective, and also I think that way we can, more easier to come closer to reality. So this is my view. So I think the admiration towards Buddha mainly is two factors. One, Buddhist philosophy, the interdependent sort of concept. Then the merciful or full compassion sort of person. So the follower, I myself consider one Buddhist follower, one tiny follower. So I practice as much as I can the practice of love, compassion, and with help of the realization or understanding about the reality, interdependent and arising nature. So that's very helpful to me. So that's my answer for your question. Now, third questions. Perhaps on this side. Oh, then okay. Oh.
We eliminate our fear with compassion. What else would your advice be to us Slovenians?
I don't know. I think Buddha stated, oneself is master of oneself. So therefore, finally, ultimately, you yourself finds answer. Yeah, next question.
The question is, what is it in your life that you like? What is it that you don't like? And what are you afraid of?
I think variety. I think variety. I don't know which is topmost. I don't know. I think this moment, I'm very happy. The weather is very good, environment is very beautiful, and as I mentioned before, the people here, I think most cases, a big smile, and seems very happy, so makes me very happy. Then I think the uncomfortable, the other day, one talk in the room, too much heat. While I'm talking, there are a lot of us, perspirations, and then also me, because of my somehow is my skin, more perspirations comes, then itching also develop. So while I'm talking like a monkey, like that. Now last question, this side.
If the Chinese continue the genocide, what can be done? Is there anything that can be done in the future?
I think overall, I always emphasize the People's Republic of China is process of changing. So things will change, definitely. So the China, because China's own interest, they have to join the global trend. That is respect human rights, respect individual sort of ethnic culture, and respect religious freedom, religious faith, and rule of law, and democracy, and freedom of information, freedom of speech. These are global trends. So therefore, I'm hopeful. So thank you very much. Yeah.